you, trying to help law enforcement find the person, gave them names of people you thought perhaps were involved, correct?
I did not.
Do you remember giving law enforcement the nickname Monkey Boy?
I did not.
Okay. Did you give them any names of anyone who you thought could possibly be involved?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay. Now, during the attack, you described the person as having a condom on it. The condom did not break during the attack, correct? That you saw.
I don't think so.
And during the attack, at some point, right before it ended, a cell phone went off in the person's pocket, correct?
I don't know.
Did it appear to you that a cell phone went off?
It was just like frantic. I don't know if there was a phone or if there was. I was just assuming that.
Can I approach you again?
Yes.
I'm handing you the same written transcript. Take a look at that. Does that, again, appear to be an accurate transcript of your interview with Detective Levine the morning of the incident?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to read to yourself the portion of the statement around page 4, line 14. Line 14 is specifically, but read around it to give you a little bit of context. I'm going to ask a question again. Did it appear to you at the time that a phone had actually gone off?
Yes.
Okay. Did you believe there was vibrating coming from a phone from his pocket?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when at the same time, about the same time, the light went on in Chesney's room, correct?
If I remember correctly, the light went on before he ever attacked me.
Okay. And as the person left in a hurry, when it appeared to you a vibrating phone went off, he's walking towards Chesney's bathroom, correct?
No.
Where did he walk after that?
From the phone?
Yes.
Told me to go clean off.
Okay.
And I went into the bathroom, and that's when you could hear fumbling around in my kitchen, and then he came back and sprayed.
Okay, so prior to that, at some point, Chesney's light went on and he walked towards Chesney's bathroom. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And you testified that you actually saw the light go on down the hall. Would that be accurate?
Yes.
When he walked down the hall towards the light, you would have been able to see his profile walking away from you, correct?
Yes, but I don't think I could see him. I'm pretty sure I was sitting on my bed, which you can't see the hallway.
Did you watch him as he walked out of your room?
Her bathroom door where the light was on, it was closed, so it was just like a rim of light.
Enough that you were able to see that a light had gone on from your bedroom?
Yes.
Do you recall the photo lineup when law enforcement came to you, showed you a bunch of photos, asked you if you could pick out the person who did this?
I remember.
You recall that? When you did that photo lineup, Do you recall law enforcement telling you that they had caught the person and he was in that photo lineup, and you still couldn't pick the person out? Do I have a second, Judge? That's all the questions that I had. Make sure I talk to you before you think there's something for the rest of the stuff. I'm going to say for closing arguments. I think I got all the facts. Anything important you think I need to have? Okay. Nothing further, Judge. Thank you. Please direct me to stand.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Wong, you were just asked some series of questions about a statement you made regarding a cell phone. Do you remember making that statement?
Yes.
Okay. Having looked at the transcript, do you now remember saying that in the past?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand. Were you saying that it was like a cell phone or that there was a cell phone?
It was like a cell phone.
Okay, because in your statement you said, I swear it's like a cell phone or something. You didn't say it was a cell phone?
No.
Okay. Now, I also want to ask you about another statement that you were asked about. Same page on line 11, line 4. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Defense counsel showed you page 11, line 5, where you were asked about seeing a condom on your attacker. Do you remember that question and answer that's on the page?
Yes.
Okay. What was your complete answer beginning on line 5? And if you could just read from line 5 through line 7 so we're not going back and forth about what your answer was.
Object, Judge. Hearsay.
Overrule. You can do that.
I'm pretty sure he was black. He was blending with all this black stuff.
Go ahead. Keep going.
And like I can tell in the condom, it was like a white condom, and he, like his skin was black.
That's the only questions I have, Judge. Thank you.
So I thank you very much for your testimony. You are excused. State may call us next witness.
Now, the state calls Sergeant Richard Mankiewicz.
We let anyone outside know that they can come back in if they want to.
That's fine. Yes, sir.
We let anyone outside know they can come back.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you give in this case is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Sir, could you please tell us your full name and spell your last name for the record?
Sergeant Richard Mankiewicz, Mankewich.
Sir, where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you worked with the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
A little over 24 years now.
And what is your current title and assignment with the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
My current assignment is with the Sex Crime Squad. I'm the sergeant over the squad.
What does it mean for those of us without military training to be the sergeant of a squad?
I oversee the daily operations of the squad. I oversee all the investigations and reports that come in from the detectives working the cases.
How long have you been, I'm going to use the word supervisor, how long have you been the supervisor of that unit?
Almost 12 years now.
Can you describe the general duties of the Orange County Sheriff's Office Sex Crimes Unit?
Sure. We handle all sexually related crimes, including sexual batteries, lewd molestations, sex crimes against adult and children, all child abductions, any kind of lewd molestations, anything to do with sexually related crimes comes to our squad.
How is it that cases are referred? Does a deputy call you? Do you get 911 calls? How does that work?
Generally, when a crime happens, the victim calls 911, which triggers the road patrol units to respond out. Road patrol responds out, takes initial interviews of the victims, and then notifies our sex crime squad to respond out.
How many detectives are currently working in the sex crimes unit at the sheriff's office?
We have 10 detectives, a corporal, and myself.
And what does a corporal do within your unit?
When I'm not there, he'll take over the supervisory responsibilities of the squad. If I am there, he'll assist the detectives and me on any big scenes.
And did you have 10 detectives back in June of 2012?
Yes, I did.
Have you received any specialized training regarding the investigation of sex crimes cases?
I have.
Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Sure. Been to several interrogation schools, sex crimes investigation schools, interviewing victims, witnesses. I currently teach several classes throughout the state and nationally on sex crimes related topics.
Were you the sergeant of the sex crimes unit at the sheriff's office on June 1st of 2012?
I was.
And did your team respond to a call out regarding an armed burglary and sexual battery at 2116 Three Trees Court on that morning around 5 a.m.?
Yes, we did.
So who was the detective assigned to the case?
Detective Jason Levine was on call that day, and he took the initial call from the road patrol units.
So, and I should have asked you that. How does the assignment of cases work within your unit?
The detectives are on call for 24 hours at a time, so anything that happens from midnight to midnight is their responsibility.
And it was Detective Levine's turn up, for lack of a better phrase?
It was.
Okay. And in this particular call, was he the only detective from your unit that responded anywhere?
No.
Can you tell us about the response? In other words, who went where?
Anytime we have a case where it's an unknown suspect, someone breaks into your home and rapes you, it triggers an all-call situation. The detective will call me, and then I'll turn around and call everyone on the squad to respond, because so much needs to be done in a small amount of time that we need a large group of people to handle that.
Now, is Detective Levine still working in your unit?
He's not in my unit now.
And do you know approximately when he left the unit? Or, better question, how long he was in the unit?
He did about 2 years in the unit.
Is that a typical time frame for a detective in your unit?
It is.
And why is that?
We see so much bad stuff. Anytime sexual assaults happen, adults, children, we see just so much that detectives burn out. We have such a huge caseload that it's tough to maintain that for any length of time.
So, were you one of the individuals who personally responded to a scene on that morning?
I was.
Where did Detective Levine respond?
He responded to residents that belonged to Lauren Wagg's brother. That's where they called 911.
And do you know what he did there?
Yes. Detective Levine started the interviews of the two victims in the case.
Now, when your unit has multiple victims, can you tell us how the interview process works and
Sure.
why that's done?
Sure. Each victim is interviewed separately. He'll do one first and then the other. It's just to make sure, they're not getting together, talking about the case, talking about the story prior to talking to the detectives. So everything's clean and separate when we get the initial outcry from the victim.
And so do you know were initial statements given to Detective Levine?
They were.
The second scene was an apartment off of Cimarron Boulevard, is that right?
It was.
And do you recall the address?
I believe it was 3 Ring Road and the Avers Apartments.
Okay, and where is the Avers Village Apartments located?
It's on the east side of Orange County, right off of Cimarron Boulevard, 436.
So that is in Orange County?
It is.
And did any members of your unit respond to that scene?
Yes.
And who, if you can recall the best of your ability, responded to that scene? Besides yourself?
Besides myself, everyone that was on the squad that day responded out. I think Corporal McCullough, Neil Clark, Heather Casper. I know we had such a turnover since then that
Fair enough. But
everyone on the squad that was available to responded to that scene.
Okay. So what was the first thing that you had done when you arrived? Or back up. Were you the first person that arrived, or did other people get there before you?
Someone may have gotten there before me, but I was one of the first ones to arrive.
When you arrived, what was it that you ordered be done?
Right when I responded out, I wanted to get my resources, find out what I had, and then start a canvass of the area.
What is a canvas?
That's when we go door to door to each apartment in the complex just to determine, did they hear anything? Did they see anything? Do you have any video cameras inside the apartment looking outside? Any information that we can gather to help us determine possible suspect in the case?
And did detectives, in fact, go door to door at the other apartments nearby the target residence?
Yes.
Were they able to obtain, did anybody come forward and say they were an eyewitness to this incident?
No.
Or did anybody provide any information that proved useful in the investigation down the road?
No.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness of what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit C and shown to counsel? Sergeant Anchorage, I'm going to hand you a photograph marked as State's Exhibit C. Take a look at it for a moment and tell me if you recognize what's distinctive in the photo.
I do.
And what is that photograph depict?
It's an overall picture of the apartment complex, the office apartment complex.
And do you see Cimarron Boulevard?
I do.
And is that a fair and accurate photograph of the area that includes the Office Village apartment complex?
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, the State seeks to investigate State's right.
No objection.
Thank you. Yes, I think we're receiving the evidence as the state's next number exhibit, please.
Yes, States 3.
So, Sergeant, you said that your people went around and knocked on doors to ask if anybody saw anything. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And would that include the building or buildings immediately adjacent to the target residence?
Yes.
Do you remember speaking, or did anyone document speaking to a Blossom Canales that day?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, permission to publish States 3 to the jury?
Yes, sir.
While we're waiting for that to boot up, Sergeant, so you ordered a canvas when you first arrived. What other activities or investigation was conducted at the scene?
At that time, I ordered a bloodhound to respond to the scene.
All right, and to your knowledge, was the bloodhound able to locate any track or of investigative use?
No, I wanted the bloodhound to track from the apartment to determine if it could take us anywhere, to any apartment door, and it did not.
Okay. At some point, were the victims in this case returned to the scene where you were located at Three Trees Court?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of returning them to the scene?
I like having the victims come back to the apartment, to the scene, to do a walkthrough of the apartment. Sometimes when you're giving your initial statement, clearly you're under a lot of stress, a lot of drama at the time, you forget certain things. By walking them through the scene, you're able to remember, oh yeah, maybe he did touch that, or oh yeah, I dropped that right there during the incident.
During this walkthrough, were you personally present with each victim?
I was.
And who else was present for the walkthrough?
CSI and Detective Jason Levine.
Do you recall the name of the CSI who was present?
I believe it was Allison Smolik.
All right. Permission to approach the witness of what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit D as in Delta and shown to counsel.
Yes, sir.
Sergeant Mankiewicz, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit D. It's a photograph. Tell me if you recognize the image depicted in it.
I do.
And what do you recognize it to be?
That was the cord wrapped around Chesney's hands during the attack.
And is the photograph of where the cord is it a fair and accurate depiction of where it was on the morning of June 1st when you did your walkthrough?
It was.
At this time, the state seeks to admit State's D as State's 4.
No objection.
You can estimate the received evidence, please.
Enter States 4.
Thank you.
Can you give us a general description of the apartment that you conducted the walkthrough with both Lauren Wog and Chesney Goebel?
Sure. Small apartment, kitchen, family room, 2 bedrooms.
Now, you said that the crime scene investigator was present with you. Why does that person participate in the walkthrough?
CSI is there to photograph, if she points out certain areas that maybe the suspect touched, or she's able to document it. She's the one who gathers all the evidence for us. So that's their expertise.
And you previously identified State's Exhibit 4. You want permission to publish?
Yes, sir.
Actually, before we do that, I'll publish State's Exhibit 3. Sergeant Manquist, I'm going to zoom this in and grab a laser pointer for you so that you can point out what we're looking at. This is State's Exhibit 3. If you could show us the main roadway, and then it's at the very end on the other side. Oh, sorry. Straight line. There you go.
Wow.
Hold on.
Sorry. Got it.
Yeah. Go ahead. If you could describe the scene.
Sure. This is 436 Summerall Boulevard, right here. This is the Otter's Apartments, one way in, one way out. This is Three Tree Road right here. This is the victim's apartment complex right there.
Okay. And now publishing State's Exhibit 4. Can you describe what we're seeing in this photograph?
Sure.
Currently. It's gonna take a moment. Okay, go ahead.
This is the bathroom.
Which bathroom?
Chesney's bathroom. This is her bedroom. This is the cord that was wrapped around her wrist. You can see almost like a set of handcuffs. The cord's set up in.
And that's the way that you and the other law enforcement officers found it when you went through the line.
Yes.
Do you recall part of your investigation even including interviewing somebody who got a parking ticket?
Yes.
Can you tell us just briefly about what that was about?
Sure. During the canvass of the scene, there was a vehicle, I believe it was a BMW, parked in front of the apartment, the victim's apartment. It had a parking ticket on the windshield, and it was around the time that the crime would have occurred. So we took that and tried to locate the person the owner of that vehicle.
And did that part of the investigation go anywhere?
No, it did not.
And you previously said that your detectives conducted interviews with people at the scene and then other potential suspects later on through an investigation, correct?
Correct.
Did you develop or your agency develop any solid investigative leads based upon those interviews?
No, we did not.
Now, are you familiar with the Sexual Assault Treatment Center?
I am.
And can you tell the jury what that is?
Sure. Here in Orange County, we're actually blessed with that. We have a standalone facility designed specifically for victims of sexual assault. Under normal situations, other agencies, they have to take them to the emergency room. We, here in Orange County, have a standalone facility. The purpose of the standalone facility is we take the victims there, and that's where a medical exam is performed. The nurses collect clothing, swab the victim, vaginal swabs, any kind of touch that the suspect may have done to the victim is swabbed at this location.
And were either of the victims in this case transported to that location?
Yes.
Which one?
Which
victim was transported?
Oh, Lauren.
Okay. In addition to those efforts, did your agency attempt to obtain or actually obtain orders for phones that you thought might be associated with the investigation?
Yeah, anyone whose name came up as a potential suspect, because we don't know who it is at this point. So anyone whose name comes up, we're investigating them fully. And, yeah, we conducted several subpoenas for phone orders in the case.
And were those able to identify any solid investigative leads?
No.
At the end of your initial investigation, the items that were recovered from the crime scene were submitted to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for testing. Is that right?
Yes.
But is it fair to say, however, that as of September of 2012, this investigation went inactive due to a lack of suspects?
That's correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Adams, you have the first.
Sergeant, were you involved with the photo lineup that was done with Ms. Wagon, Ms. Goebel in 2014?
Objection, Your Honor. Scope.
You can answer it.
Were you involved with that photo lineup?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay. And the people who were added to pictures for that photo lineup, that included only white Hispanic-looking males, correct?
Yes, sir.
at some point, either during your walkthrough or shortly after, did you examine the window that I guess you believed the person had come through?
I recall examining a window, yes.
Okay. What did that examination entail?
Attempting to open it up, see if there's any footprints on the ground, see if there's any fingerprints on the window.
Do you recall any visible fingerprints?
No.
Okay. No, there was, or no, you don't recall?
I don't recall.
Okay.
That was the processing of the window was done prior to me even going out and looking at it.
Okay. Do you recall if it had black powder or anything else from having been processed?
I don't recall, sir.
Okay. Would it be fair to say it's not uncommon for when you evaluate a scene to see things like black powder because it's been processed for fingerprints and things like that?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Outside of the window, do you recall what it looked like on the ground?
I believe there was dirt around the base of the window.
Okay. And you never personally attempted to come into the house from outside in order to experiment, correct?
Correct.
Okay. When you tried to lift up the window, was it locked during that?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you visibly inspect the area on the windowsill and underneath where a person who just came in from a dirty area might leave evidence of having come through the window?
I believe it was inspected. I don't believe it was done by me.
Okay. You don't personally recall seeing any footprints or dirt that looks like it had come from inside, correct?
That's correct.
And if you did, you, of course, would have put that in your report.
Yes, sir.
No weapons were found that were alleged to have been used in this inside the house, correct?
Correct.
Or outside in the area during the canvass?
That's correct.
Okay. There was some condoms found, correct?
Yes, sir.
Outside of the apartment, was there a used condom?
I believe a condom wrapper was found. I don't know if the actual condom itself was found.
Okay. During the initial canvass, at least?
Yes.
Okay. You testified just a moment ago that the reason you like to have victims of these types of crimes do the walkthroughs to make sure that you're getting the most accurate reflection of what happened, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would it be fair to say then that their recollection during that time would be better than it would be 3 years later today?
Objection, Your Honor. Speculating as to. It's an area of expertise, and it's not his.
Sustained. Can you briefly answer?
I'll withdraw the question, Judge. No further questions.
Thank you. Can you be direct in the state?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Sergeant, thank you very
Thank you, Your Honor.
much for your testimony. You are excused.
And he is subject to recall, Judge.
Okay. And subject to, can you leave the building?
He may.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Williams, you may call your next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Allison Smolarek.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? I do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ma'am, could you please tell us your full name and spell your last name for the record?
My name is Allison Smolarek. That's Smolarek.
And Ms. Smolarek, where are you currently employed?
I'm employed with the Orange County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been employed with the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
I've been with Orange County for nearly 6 years now.
What is your current title or assignment at the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
I am part of the forensics unit. I work as a crime scene investigator.
And how long have you been employed as a crime scene investigator with the Sheriff's Office?
For the entire time I've been there, for just about 6 years.
Did you have any prior law enforcement experience before becoming a crime scene investigator with the OCSO?
Yes, for 3 years prior to Orange County, I was a crime scene investigator with the City of Orlando Police Department.
So you have 9 years total experience, is that right?
That's correct, yes.
Did you receive any specialized, or have you received any specialized training to perform your current duties with the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree in forensic science from the University of Central Florida. I have a master's degree in criminal justice, and I also have attended numerous specialized training classes throughout my 9 years of crime scene investigation.
Can you give us an example of some of the classes you've attended in regards to crime scene investigation?
Yes, some of the classes I've attended would be the recovering of buried bodies and surface skeletons, trajectory and shooting reconstruction, bloodstain pattern analysis, firearm handling and safety, those type of classes.
Okay. What are the general duties that a crime scene investigator undertakes when he or she is called out to a scene?
No matter what type of crime scene we respond to, it is my job as a CSI to respond to the crime scene and document the scene using photographs, notes, sometimes even sketches, as well as collect and preserve any type of physical evidence.
And were you a crime scene investigator employed and on duty with the Orange County Sheriff's Office on the morning of June 1st, 2012?
Yes, I was.
And did you respond to a scene in East Orlando on that date and time?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell us, and I don't think, unless there's an objection, to refer to her report, if she needs to, can you tell us where the address and the address to which you responded and the time that you responded?
Yes, I can give you my exact time and location if I can look at the report.
Any objection, Tom?
No objections.
Okay. On Friday, June 1st, 2012, I responded to the address of 2116 3 Trees Court, specifically apartment number 106. I received the call at 7:37 hours or 7:37 a.m. and I arrived at 8:11.
Now, you asked permission to refer to your report. I'm assuming you generated a report regarding this case. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
And do you generate a report in most of the scenes that you go out to?
Yes, every scene I respond to, I will write some type of report.
Okay. Now, what did you do when you first arrived on the scene in this case?
For this particular case, the first thing I did was speak with the initial responding deputies as well as any of the responding detectives or sergeants that were on scene.
Now, you gave us an address and actually an apartment number. What was the general scene that you responded to? What was the nature of it?
The nature of it?
Well, what type of, was it a residence, commercial building? What type of area? And the area and then the specific type of building it was.
Okay. I responded to an apartment complex, and more specifically, it was one individual, 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment inside a large building at the apartment complex.
Do you recall who was present for the briefing that, well, I use the word briefing. You said you spoke to the people on scene. Do you recall who was present for that?
Yes. There were several sex crime detectives there, including Jason Levine, as well as Sergeant Richard Mankiewicz.
All right. What did you do after you were briefed?
After I was briefed, the first thing I did was to photograph the apartment and the layout of the apartment as it was when I first arrived on scene.
And those photographs included both the exterior and then the general interior of the apartment. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Now, may I approach the witness who has been marked as State's Exhibit E in showing counsel?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Mallory, I'm approaching the State's Exhibit Composite E. It's a series of 5 photographs. Could you please look at them and tell me if you recognize the scenes depicted in them?
Yes, I recognize these photographs.
And what do you generally recognize them to be?
I recognize these to be as the exterior and the main entranceway to apartment number 106.
Are they fair and accurate depictions of apartment 106 as it was that morning?
Yes, they are.
At this time, the State would seek to admit State's E as State's 5.
No objections.
Thank you. Yes, they may be received into evidence at the State's next number exhibit, please.
Permission to publish State's 5 to the jury, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mark, I'm going to put the photographs one at a time on the screen. There's a laser pointer right there. If you could, as I go through them, tell us what we're looking at. For record purposes, identify the first photograph is E1 of States 5.
This is the large exterior of the main building that I was involved at here at the Arbors Village apartment complex. When you enter this breezeway here, the victim's apartment is along this wall right here.
Are there 4 apartment entrances in that breezeway on the first floor? Or are there 2? In other words, is there one on each side, or do you recall?
I do not recall that at this time.
Okay. Do you recall how many floors that building had?
Yes, it was a 3-story building,
And what floor was the victim's apartment on?
the ground floor.
Right. E2, States Exhibit 5, let me back out a little bit. Let me focus. There you go, go ahead. Seems to be going in and out. There you go.
This is the front door to the apartment that was in question, apartment number 106.
And as you enter, it appears to be a half wall.
Yes, there is a half wall immediately upon entry.
Now E3, States Exhibit 5.
This is the interior of the apartment. This is the tiny corner of that half wall we just saw, so I'm standing in the entranceway looking south towards the living room.
Okay, and is there a hallway that proceeds further into the apartment and the bedrooms?
Yes, it's in the back over here. This is the hallway that would lead to the kitchen, bathroom, and bedrooms.
Okay, E4 of States Exhibit 5. What are we looking at in that photograph?
In this photograph, I'm standing right at the edge of the living room. This is the half entrance wall right next to the front door, and this would be the dining room area with the kitchen back here in the corner.
And finally, E5 of States Exhibit 5.
This photograph depicts a reverse look at the front door. This area here is the front door, this is the half wall, and then this would be the dining area.
Were you, during the course of your, during the course of your walkthrough or documentation, were you able to identify the bedroom belonging to Chesney Goebel?
Yes, I was.
Where within the apartment was that bedroom located?
The bedroom belonging to Chesney Goebel was located in the southwest corner of the apartment unit.
Your Honor, permission or approach to witness what's been marked as State's Exhibit F and shown to counsel?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Millard, I'm showing you a composite, again, 5 photographs, State's Composite F. You can take a look at the photographs and tell me if you recognize them.
Yes, I recognize these photographs.
And what do you recognize them generally to be?
I recognize them as to be overall photographs of victim Chesney Goebel's bedroom.
Are they fair and accurate depictions of her bedroom as you found on 1 June 1st?
Yes, they are.
Now at this time, State seeks to admit State's F as the next time exhibit.
No objection.
Thank you. Yes, they may be received into evidence as the state's next exhibit.
Entered at States number 6.
Permission to publish State's 6, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
If Your Honor, let's see the photographs before I show them.
That's fine.
Thank you.
You can publish. Thank you.
So once again, I'm going to publish F1 of State's Exhibit 6. Take a moment and orient yourself. And let us know what we're looking at there, Mr. Millard.
This is an overall view of the victim's bedroom. We have a bed here and a window here, and this wall that the bed and the window are on is going to be what I refer to as the west wall.
Now, you identified the window. Is that the window that was described to you as the point of entry?
Yes, this is the window that was described to me as like that.
Now, F2 of State's Exhibit 6, what are we looking at there?
This would be the floor, and here's the window that we just looked at in the previous picture in the side of the bed. So we have a nightstand and a dresser in this view.
F3 of State's Exhibit 6.
This is the opposite corner of the room. This is the other edge of the bed, and a second nightstand was in this corner.
F4 of State's Exhibit 6.
This would be the east wall of the bedroom. This first door here is actually for the closet. And then right along here is a second door which leads to a vanity portion of a bathroom.
And finally, F5 of State's Exhibit 6.
This is a concentrated area of the floor inside the bedroom. Here is the side of the bed.
When you were documenting Ms. Goebel's bedroom, did you also take photographs of the window of entry and the area immediately surrounding it?
Yes, I did.
Now, do you recall documenting or seeing any debris or anything else of that nature on the interior of the apartment underneath the window?
Not that I can recall this time, no.
Okay. Now, the window that enters into Chesney Goebel's apartment, room within her apartment, is it open up into a wide space, or how does it appear, if you recall?
It was a window that would be lifted upward, and below it was some personal items in the room as well as part of the nightstand.
On the inside?
On the inside, yes.
Okay. Now, may I approach the witness who was to mark the State's Exhibit G and show the counsel?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Warren, I have you take a composite G of 3 photographs. Please look at them and tell me if you recognize the image depicted in them.
Yes, I recognize these photographs.
And generally, what do you recognize them to be?
I recognize them as the window along the west wall in Chesney's bedroom,
And that's the entry window.
as what I was told. Correct,
Represented as
yes.
the entry window. They're inaccurate depictions?
Yes, they are.
This time, the state seeks to omit stage G as state 7.
No objection.
Thank you. Yes, they may be received.
Into the State's number 7.
Thank you.
Permission to publish state 7, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Millard, G1 of state 7.
This is looking at the bottom of the window here as I'm standing in the bedroom. So the bed is a small corner here, and then the nightstand is right here.
G2 of state 7.
This would be the center bar of the window. This would be the area that you would lift up or push down to open or close the window. And I took this picture showing that there was some marks of some sort on the window, possibly in dust.
And finally, G3 of state 7.
And this is an exterior view of that same window. This is the west wall bedroom window from the outside.
So from the exterior of the apartment wall, the window is inset a little bit. Is that correct? Inset from the wall. In other words, there's a little alcove, so to speak.
Yes, there is. This is, I believe, part of a different apartment, not the one that we were in.
Now, since I showed you a photograph you identified a photograph of what appeared to be some type of fingerprints. Did you examine that window for any fingerprint evidence?
Yes, I did. I used black powder and a fingerprint brush to process the interior and exterior of the window for latent prints.
Were you able, back up, what is a latent print?
A latent print is something that a person can leave behind after they touch an object. It is the sweat and oils that can be left behind from the residues on your skin. And when you touch an object, there's a chance that you can leave a latent print behind.
And were you able to recover any latent prints from the window area?
In this case, yes, I did.
Now, did you have information regarding, or had you been briefed about what the victims stated happened in their attacker?
Yes, I had been informed about what the victims had told the other officers on scene.
And specifically regarding whether or not the person was wearing gloves?
To my recollection at this time, it was unknown, unsure of if the suspect had been wearing gloves, so we went ahead and processed the scene in case he was not wearing gloves.
Okay. Did you attempt to obtain latent prints from any other areas within the apartment?
Yes, several areas inside the bedroom that we viewed the photographs of. I was told that the bedroom normally didn't look that way, so I processed all of the drawers and items that appeared to be out of place in the bedroom.
Were you able to recover any additional latent prints other than the ones from the window?
Yes, I recovered several more additional prints from 2 of the nightstands inside the bedroom.
Now, when you recover a latent print, do you examine that print for fingerprint evidence?
After I recover a latent print, I actually send it to our latent print identification unit, and they are the ones that look at the print and determine if it can be compared to any specific person.
Your permission to approach the witnesses who have been previously marked as State's Exhibits H and J. H and J.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Millard, I'm approaching you with State's Exhibit H, which is a composite of 3 photographs. Could you tell me if you recognize those photographs?
Yes, I recognize these photographs.
Generally, what are they?
They are the bathroom and vanity area along the south side of the apartment.
Okay, they're inaccurate depictions?
Yes, they are.
Same series of questions for State's Exhibit Composite J. Do you recognize photographs from that exhibit?
Yes, I recognize these photographs.
And generally, what are they?
These photographs are of the northwest bedroom inside the apartment.
And who was that bedroom identified to belong to?
To victim Lauren Wag?
And are these photographs fair and accurate depictions?
Yes, they are.
Now, at this time, the state seeks to admit States H and J as the next number of exhibits.
No objection.
Thank you, and yes, they may be received in evidence as the State's next number of exhibits.
The retention is States 8 and States 9.
8 and 9, thank you.
You have permission to publish States 8?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Millard, publish H1 of States 8. Could you show us what we're looking at in this photograph?
Yes, this is a photograph of the south bathroom. It was along that hallway that led from the living room area. And this is just an overall photograph of the bathroom.
Now, that bathroom, is it accessible from more than one door?
Yes, this is from the hallway near the kitchen area, but there is a second door right along here on the interior side of the bathroom that you cannot see in this picture.
And now H2 of States Exhibit 8, what are we looking at in that photograph?
This was an Apple-type power cord that was on the bath mat right on the floor inside the bathroom of the previous picture we just saw.
And did you take that cord into evidence?
Yes, I did.
And finally, H3 of States Exhibit 8. What do we see there?
This is a picture of a second vanity area. This would be a vanity area, and there's a second sink here. So I'm standing in the bathroom, and actually, if you look all the way down, there's a second doorway here. This doorway leads into Chesney's bedroom.
permission to publish states on?
Yes, sir.
Smart. That is J1. Stacy Exhibit 9. What are you looking at there? When it comes in focus.
I'm standing at the very end of the hallway taking this photograph. I'm looking into what I refer to as the northwest bedroom, which belonged to Lauren.
J2. Stacy Exhibit 9. What is that photograph there?
This is a picture inside Lauren's bedroom. And to orientate you, this would be the south wall, and this wall over here would be the west wall.
Okay. And J3 of states on.
This is the other side of the same bedroom. So in this picture, we have the north wall and the west wall.
A moment ago, Ms. Millard, we looked at the photograph of the charger cord, and you said you collected that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I'm going to approach what states Exhibit I.
Yes, sir.
Can I approach also to watch your...
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Millard, I'm handing you states Exhibit I. Would you look at the packaging on states I and tell me if you recognize it, and so how you recognize it?
I recognize this as an item that I collected. I recognize it based on my name appearing on the front, as well as my initials and date appearing across the evidence seal on the back of the bag.
Do you know what that bag contains?
Yes, this bag is said to contain the white iHome radio power cord.
Now, when you collected that cord, did you manipulate it in any way? In other words, change the way it was sitting from the way it was sitting on the floor in the photographs?
Not until after I picked it up. It was on the floor just as it was depicted in the photograph until I picked it up and placed it into the bag.
Okay. And you have the scissors that I gave you?
Yes.
Would you mind opening Stacy Exhibit I, looking inside and making sure that the same cord that you collected is the one in the bag?
Yes, this is the same cord I collected.
Is it the same condition as it was when you placed it in that bag?
When I placed it into the bag, yes. I have also processed the cord for fingerprints, though, so the cord appears to have some black dust on it. That is the fingerprint powder I used to process the cord.
Okay. At this time, the state seeks to admit Stacy Exhibit I as an extended exhibit.
No objection.
Yes, thank you. That may be received as the state's next number of exhibit and to advertise.
Were you able to obtain any latent prints from the cord that's now in State's Exhibit 10?
No, I did not obtain latent prints from the cord.
Do you recall how many items of evidence, not photographs, but items of evidence you collected from the apartment on the morning of June 1st, 2012? And if you need to refer to your report, that's fine.
Yes, I can give you the exact number. From the interior of the apartment itself, I collected 10 items of evidence.
I'd like to specifically refer you to the items you collected under tag number M61090.
Okay.
That's page 4 of the report. Can you tell us the items that you collected and documented in your report from the scene that morning?
Yes. The first item I collected, according to my property form, was buccal swabs, which are swabs of the interior of someone's cheek. It's a way to get their DNA. I collected these from victim Chesney Goebel. I also collected a purple down comforter, a white down comforter, a white pillowcase, a second white pillowcase, and a white fitted sheet. All of those bedding items were collected from the bed in the northwest bedroom, which belonged to victim Lauren. From the couch in the living room, I collected 2 red throw pillows and 2 green pillowcases off pillows that were on the couch. I also collected the iHome power cord, which we saw on the bathroom floor, and I collected a can of Febreze spray that was on top of the fridge in the kitchen.
Did you attempt to do any processing of the can of Febreze?
Yes, I processed the can of Febreze for latent prints.
Were you successful in obtaining any latent prints?
On the can, I was successful, yes.
And you submitted those for comparison?
I did, yes.
Okay. Now, did you do any ALS, I'm going to say searching, I'm not exactly sure of the term. Can you tell us, by starting out by telling us what ALS is?
Yes. ALS stands for alternate light source. And basically what it is a very fancy black light type of object. It emits a bright blue light which will make bodily fluids fluoresce. So in this particular case, wearing orange goggles and using my alternate light source, I searched the floor.
I'm going to show you what's been marked into evidence as State's Exhibit, Composite Exhibit 8. This H2 for identification. This is a picture that's in evidence. Is that about what kind of condition it was in when you found it?
Yes, this is exactly how it was when I first arrived on scene.
You say exactly. Do you know that because you would have taken a picture of it as it was and not touched it or managed it at all?
Yes, once I arrived on scene, the cord was not touched again until I picked it up and put it into a bag.
The alternative light source testing that you just described, can you tell me whether or not you did that testing for any of the clothing that Lauren Wag would have been wearing at the time?
I did not test any of Lauren's clothing. I actually had no contact with Lauren throughout this investigation.
Okay, so that testing was limited to the bedding and other materials in Lauren Wag's room?
Yes, I did it just on the items inside her room.
Are you aware whether or not any ALS testing was done on the clothing that Lauren Wag was wearing?
To my knowledge, I do not know, or I do not believe an ALS was used. It was just sent for DNA testing to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
You had no personal contact with the clothes that she was wearing?
No, I did not have any contact with them.
So you would not have collected it in any way for evidence?
No, I did not.
Okay. Can you tell me what the difference is between a fingerprint and a latent print?
Yes. A fingerprint is normally referred to as something that you actually would physically be able to see. A latent fingerprint is the same thing as a latent print. A latent, when you put the word latent in front of it, it just means that it's invisible to the naked eye. You need some type of chemical processing in order to discover the latent print.
Okay. And then the fact that you would classify something as a latent print, does that mean it's going to be of comparison value?
I am not a fingerprint certified analyst, so when I lift latent prints, I cannot say 100% that they are or of not comparison value. Through my training and experience, I know which one has the potential to be of value, but in this case, no, I do not have the ability to say yes, that's of value or not.
So that's another person's job to make that determination.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And in this case, you did pick up some latents that were potentially going to be of value, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And can you tell me specifically, if you already said it, I apologize, where those latents were found?
I can read to you exactly from my report if you'd like.
I have no objection. Counsel has no objection.
No objection.
From the apartment itself, I lifted 6 latent prints. There was 2 of them from the bottom window pane of the window that we questioned about being the point of entry window. And then I lifted 1 from the top dresser drawer of the north wall nightstand. And these are all in victim Chesney's bedroom. And then I lifted 3 additional prints off the dresser drawers of the south wall nightstand in Chesney's bedroom. And then in addition, back at the forensics laboratory, I processed a can of Febreze and lifted 4 latent prints off the can of Febreze.
So 10 total?
Yes.
Was there a reason you processed the can of Febreze?
To my recollection at this time, I remember detectives informing me that one of the victims had indicated that they smelled something which smelled similar to the can of Febreze that they had in their living room, or excuse me, in their kitchen, and they thought it might have been sprayed by the suspect.
Okay. So once you collected them, well, first of all, what methods did you use to collect those prints?
The fingerprints?
Yes.
The ones that I developed in the actual scene of the apartment, I used strictly black powder. And then the ones that I used on the Febreze can, I used something called cyanoacrylate fuming, which is superglue fuming. And then I also used black powder as well.
And then you would have sent them off to a person whose job it is to analyze them and compare them to any known prints?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Are you aware of whether that was done in this case?
Yes, they were compared.
Okay. And do you know, out of those 10 that you collected, whether or not any or all of them were specifically of value, that they were suitable for comparison?
Correction, Your Honor, she has personal knowledge of that.
Sustained.
Disregard that. Are you aware of whether any condom wrappers were found? Either empty condom wrappers were found either in the apartment or outside.
Yes, there were.
Can you tell me how many and approximately where they would have been found?
Yes. I located 2 used condom wrappers that were outside of the apartment building. Along the north side of the building, there was one located in the bushes, and then there was a second condom wrapper located in the bottom of a storm grate. It was down in the debris inside the storm grate, which was to the north of the building that we were in.
Can you tell me what the brand of those condom wrappers were?
Let me just verify that in my report. They were Magnum condom wrappers.
Judge, can we approach?
Yes, sir. Members of the jury, is everybody doing okay? Once we finish with Mr. Malarick, we'll be taking a break, okay? And Mr. Adams, whenever you are ready, you may continue.
Did you ever take into evidence any from outside the apartment any used condoms?
No, no used condoms were located.
That you are aware of, at least, correct?
That, yes, as I'm aware of, yes.
Did you process the scene at all for any DNA samples?
I didn't swab anything for DNA, but I collected all of the bedding in the bedroom as well as bedding on the couch for possible DNA.
Do you have training and experience in testing for DNA?
What do you mean by testing?
Swabbing or testing materials that may have DNA on them?
I have training to collect DNA samples. As for analyzing any type of DNA, I do not have training for that, no.
And what methods do you typically use in order to collect potential DNA?
To collect potential DNA, the main things that we do are either swab the item using clean, sterile swabs, or we just collect the entire item and send that for DNA processing.
And tell me about the swab that you would use. What type of material is that?
The swab is basically a large cotton swab, almost like it would go like a cotton swab for cleaning. It has a wooden handle and a clean, sterile piece of cotton at the end.
And what type of surfaces do you use that sort of swab in order to test for potential DNA?
We would swab any type of stain that we would visually see, or we could also swab a blood stain. In this case, there wasn't any, but that's something that we would be standard to swab with the stains.
So just brushing that cotton swab up against a surface is enough to transfer the DNA to the swab?
Yes, it could transfer DNA.
Is that the typical process that you would use?
If we were swabbing something for DNA, yes, that's the process I would use.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any redirecting statements?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Malarick, you briefly talked about your experience in lifting latent fingerprints.
Yes.
Would you expect to find a latent fingerprint if a person was wearing gloves?
If a person was wearing gloves, no, I would not expect to find latent fingerprints.
No further questions.
Thank you. Ms. Malarick, thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
You are excused. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, it is almost 5 minutes to 3. Why don't we take about a 15-minute recess? That gets us back here at 10 minutes after 3. Please remember not to discuss the case or do any research on your own. You may leave your notepads on your chair, and we will see you in a moment.
Jury action.
Please be seated. And counsel, can you... you all. We will be in recess, reconvene at 10 minutes after 3. Thank you.
Yeah, he's staying. 340. We leave him.
You're welcome.
Check with Carlos.
And she'll bring another one tomorrow.
Okay. Carlos, you staying?